You know how to check one condition, but what about checking two things at the same time? What if user needs the right username and the right password? Or what if a door opens if you are an admin or a VIP? That's logical operators. Once you have these, your if statements become genuinely smart. We will be building a logic system that will help us to understand more about logical operators. So let's begin. Logical operators connect multiple conditions together into a bigger condition. There are three logical operators: and, or, and not. They each answer a simple question: and ask, are both things true? Or ask, is at least one thing true? Not flips the answer: true becomes false and false becomes true. These three words might be the most powerful tools in all of programming logic. Let's understand each one of them completely. In Scratch, logical operators are in hexagon format. So they basically help us to hold two or more than two hexagons inside them so that you can get multiple conditions and we can combine them together. We want to write a code in which we are basically checking that if a person is a teenager or not. So for that, we need to set a condition, right? We have to check that if the age of an individual is between 12 is greater than 12 but less than 20, then we are going to consider that human or individual as a teenager. So how we can do that? We are basically setting a range. So whenever range comes into play, we always use AND operator. So this AND means it needs to make sure that both the conditions are true. That only you will get an idea. So I am going to use if else statement, which is way more better. And also we need a variable. So I have created a variable age over here. I am going to use this here and let's set it to 50. Okay. And here I'm going to add it in this. And now I need to compare two values, right? One is going to be the greater than sign, which is going to say that if age is greater than 50, no, 12, greater than 12, not equals to, greater than 12, as well as the age is less than 20, we are going to print a statement saying teenager. And suppose it's not true, one of this condition becomes false, which means if either the age is less than 12 or age is greater than 20, then the user is not the teenager, right? So I will simply write not a teenager. Okay, so let's test it out. We have 15, so of course it's going to give us teenager. Now let's say 67. So it will say not a teenager. Oops, T is missing. Not a teenager. So this is how an AND operator works. If you want this if block to be executed, you need to make sure that all the conditions are true. Now let's move to another operator, which is the OR operator. For that, I will have to create one variable. Let's say has ticket. So if you have a ticket or you are a VIP, you can enter. So let's say has ticket and one, I have already created VIP. So let's set both of them over here. And here we have has ticket and is VIP. So here's a question. So do you have a ticket? If the answer is yes, then of course, are you a VIP? No. So if you're not a VIP but you have a ticket, you are allowed to enter. Now, how can we write this code? Let's go to controls. Let's get if else log. Again, I'm going to use the OR operator this time. Here, this operator is also going to help you combine multiple conditions together. So let's duplicate this. And now I'm going to use the operate variable, which is going to say has ticket and is VIP. So if you have a ticket, which means yes, I have a ticket, and you are a VIP, either one of them true, then you are going to be able to enter. So I would say welcome, enter. Here we go, welcome, enter. But just in case the user has no ticket as well as is not VIP, kindly get the ticket. Kindly get the ticket. So here we go. Now let's quickly test this one. For now, not a teenager. It is running the first, then welcome, enter. Now what if I enter no here also, which means I don't have a ticket. So it is going to print kindly get the ticket. Works perfectly fine. So this is the second operator, that is OR operator. Now we are going to work on NOT operator. NOT is really easy. It just flips your result. Now here I'm going to create one more variable. Let's say door. Suppose we are saying the door is locked, and when I say door is not locked, which means it is open. So here I'm going to set that variable door, and I'm going to name it as locked. I'm going to assign a value log to it. Log means the door is locked. So here, the door has been equals to locked. Now I am going to again use the if else condition. And this time, all I need to do is just use a not operator. With that, I'm going to use an equality operator because this will help me to check that whether the value of variable door is locked. Listen, door is equals to locked, which means currently it is locked. But when I use not before it, which means the door is open. So here, I can say it. Right, say something. You can say not locked is equals to open, isn't it? So this is your comment. Now here I have this really important statement which is going to say you can enter, door is open. Of course, and just in case the door is not locked, door is locked, which means door is locked. Now here, let's just quickly test it. I don't want this variable to be displayed over here. Kindly get the ticket and you can enter the door. Door is open. Now what? So here, not flips the result, right? Now, if door equals anything else, not makes it true and the if gets triggered. So this is how it is happening. That's why I'm always getting printed by this one. Now, let's try to bridge this gap and let's try to do the same code in Python. Scratch has and, or, and not blocks, whereas Python uses the actual words. Let's see how we can do it. I'm going to use this block over here now. Let's go to pick code and let's try to log in first of all. Okay, so here I'm on pick code. Let's create a new project and let's give it comparison operator. Is it comparison? No, it's logical operators. Select a language. Let's say Python. I'm going to use the console for now. So to do it quickly, let's see. I'm going to write here age variable and here let's give it 15. After that, I'm simply going to say if age is greater than 12 and so we are actually using the words age is less than p. We are going to print the statement saying teenager. Whereas if this condition becomes false, we are going to say now I'm going to use the option for or. So I will write it here, at least one condition must be true. So now for or, we are going to create a variable, let's say has ticket. And I'm going to answer it as yes, no, true, false. It is up to you. So let's say I am going to, so here we used the option has ticket, no, right? So I'm going to keep this, but make sure it is it's a string. So let's say, and is VIP. So if you're using true or false, in that case, you don't have to use the string because true and false are the actual words. VIP, let's say you are a VIP. Yes, now let's type it. If has ticket equals to yes, or is VIP equals to yes, either any of this becomes yes, print you can enter. And if this condition is true, if none of them is there, we are going to print saying kindly get the ticket. Here we go. Now this is amazing part. Now I'm going to use the not operator and let's write flips true to false and false to true and vice versa. Let's see. So I'm simply going to say door is equals to locked, and here I'm simply going to write not door is equals to locked. Here it is an equality operator. So now we will simply say door is open. Else, if this condition is not true, we will simply print saying door is locked. Here we go. Now let's test it. I'm gonna hit run. And yeah, teenager, you can enter, door is locked. Now let me just divide this screen in two parts quickly so that we can actually compare two values together. Let's go. Here we go. So let's test it. We're going to reduce this portion and let's hit play button. Let's see play. Not a teenager. Why? Because I had changed the value over here to 67. Let's set it to 15 again and let's hit run again. Teenager, and kindly get, because I have changed the values here, and you can enter the door is locked. So video is about loops where your program finally stops doing things once and start doing them again and again. So I'll see you in the next one. Stay tuned and do not forget to subscribe to Code Niche. Happy learning.